many a conversation have been had about the professionalisation of the public service, with the Public Service Commission Bill seen as an important piece of legislation that could help with this matter. From governance issues, reporting corruption and non-payment of suppliers, the public service has found itself in the spotlight for wrong reasons at times. So, just how far is this bill from becoming law? Anele Gxoyiya is the Commissioner for the Public Service Commission and joins us live now this evening. Good evening to you, Commissioner, and thank you so much for your time. I'll just start with this. How far are we with the bill?
Good evening, Bongi, and good evening to the viewers of Full View. The bill, as the thing stands now, is with the National Council of Provinces, which means it is in the final lap of its run. After it has been approved by the National Council of Provinces, it will then be sent back to Parliament, and it will be referred to the President to append his signature. So we are a step closer to it being concluded and made law. We are excited, and we are looking forward to having the bill passed.
And when you look at, some of the work that has been done over the years, there is that still nagging concern about suppliers that are not being paid in record time. There was, the fact that suppliers need to be paid in 30 days. And then you still see some government departments simply not adhering to this. Is it because there's a lack of consequence management here, or what exactly is going on?
You are spot on, Bongi. It is lack of consequence management, because you will find out that most of the time we tend to blame heads of department or senior managers, and most of the time you find out that the invoices are still there at the lower levels in supply chain, because some of the officials in supply chain, they want to be paid in order to push the invoices to the next level. So all those things, some of the senior managers are aware of those things, but steps are not being taken. In some instances, some do not know, and when they are made aware, they do act accordingly. So we are still a long way from getting departments to pay service providers in time. And we always make an example with ourselves as the Public Service Commission. All the suppliers of the Public Service Commission, the longest they wait after submitting their invoices, if their invoices have been verified, the longest they wait is 14 days. Sometimes they get paid within 7 days. It is possible. That's why we keep on hammering on it. It's because we know it from experience from the Public Service Commission.
So if then the public service in some of the departments cannot even get this basic right, how does a piece of legislation then help in order to be able to ensure that the needle moves here and then we begin to see some consequences?
Remember, at some point, the Auditor General had the same problem as we are having until a law was passed that made the violation or the non-implementation of Auditor General's recommendation a criminal offense. So if the non-implementation of Public Service Commission recommendations is made a criminal offense, who will want to have a criminal offense for not doing what they are supposed to do? So that's what is exciting about the legislation. However, we are engaging with executive authorities, and most of the time they do assist. We are still having a challenge with the payment of service providers, because many a time people don't want to come forward and complain about not being paid. And that makes things difficult for us as the Commission, because we want them to come forward so that we can be able to say, service provider so and so has provided this service, but they have not been paid. Yeah. Some of the businesses have collapsed as a result of this non-payment.
And it has an adverse impact on the economy. And some of these businesses are not even able to come forward because they still want to be able to get more government business, and they're afraid that they may find themselves being blacklisted. But there is another matter, right, that I want us to talk about this evening, is that the public sector, there's a concern there with corruption raging in some cases, that we're still talking about the fact that the law needs to be strengthened in order to protect whistleblowers. But to date, we're still being told that things are in an advanced stage when you look at the Protected Disclosure Act. And one wonders, when are we ever going to see a movement in this particular regard and a finality to this matter?
Let me start by saying that corruption robs the South African public billions of rands that are supposed to have been channeled towards service delivery. And these monies disappear in people's pockets. And secondly, the capacity that the state has to deal with corruption leaves much to be desired, because our law enforcement agencies are not as strengthened as we would want to see them strengthened. You would remember in the past, we had people who were called informers in the past, who would be found everywhere. You go to a tavern, you find an informer. You go to church, there is an informer. You go everywhere. At schools, there were informers. And that helped because the state, the intelligence of the state could act proactively. But now you find out that we react more than being proactive. And those resources that are supposed to be beefing up this security is the same resources that get stolen. So that's the big challenge that we are faced with. And we want everyone to join hands with us to ensure that we fight corruption with all our might.
And one wonders then, if tomorrow someone wants to go report, what kind of protection mechanisms can they even enjoy if we're still talking about legislation? And yes, there are some departments that get this one right, but as you say, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. But let me thank you so much, Commissioner, for your time. Appreciate it this evening. And the debate continues on this particular matter, including some of the developments there around this Public Service Commission bill. That was Anele Gxoyiya, the Commissioner for the Public Service Commission.